Hello, everyone. So I'm speaking with Letitia from Seniors for Climate. How are you doing today, Letitia? It's good to hear from you.
I'm doing very well. There's only a few days to go till October 1st, so everything's falling nicely into place, and I think I can actually relax until the 1st.
So that's a Tuesday. Tell me what's going to be happening.
Well, on the Tuesday, there's going to be a bit of a surprise. I don't want to give too much away. Um, we're having an event at Knox Presbyterian. That's at 120 Lisgar at the corner of Elgin. And the event starts at 1 o'clock and lasts till 4. But if people come early at around 12:30, they will be able to enjoy a bit of a surprise, something fun to get the day going. And the doors are going to open at 12:45. And we're encouraging people to register ahead of time. This has been a very popular event, but we only have 140 chairs. So we don't want to turn people away. So we're asking people to go to Eventbrite, to the Seniors for Climate Action, National Seniors for Climate Day Ottawa event
Okay.
on Eventbrite and register. Admission is free, of course. There's
I'll
no
put a link
charge.
to that in the show notes on ckcufm.com so people that
That's
are more familiar
wonderful.
with the CKC website can just go there and click and find it. So
That's great.
you've got a message here where a lot of the issues that we're facing in our world today with extreme weather, extreme fires, floods, even extreme cold events sometimes are happening so much more often, and people need to be aware of this, of the causes, and you're trying to take action. How are you trying to take action? What are some of the plans you have for this?
Well, we Seniors for Climate is not a new organization. It's a coalition of 6 environmental seniors groups across Canada. So we have Suzuki Elders, we have Seniors for Climate Action Now, my group. We have GAS, Grandmothers Acting to Save the Planet, Climate Legacy, and Climate Action for Lifelong Learners. So they got together, a year ago at least, and talked about, how they can make more of a difference, how they can mobilize more seniors to become engaged in climate action. And they decided, the last thing we needed was yet another group, and they wanted to promote a kind of action. So they formed this coalition. They started promoting the idea of different locations across Canada planning an event on October 1st. The reason it's October 1st is that that's officially Seniors Day.
Mm.
But nothing really much happens on Seniors Day, does it? So we hijacked, basically. We took it over. We're going to make something of Seniors Day, and it's going to be Seniors for Climate Day. So there are actually 73 and more activities going to be happening across Canada on October 1st. The movement just mushroomed. It was incredible. We had our first webinar in May, and there were already quite a few people on that Zoom call. There are over 500 people, I think.
Wow.
And at the end of it, I remember David Suzuki kind of butted in at the end and said, "I'm sorry to interrupt like this and jump the queue, but I just had to tell you that I am astounded at what you've been able to pull off here." So we've kind of been floating on air since.
Yeah.
So we've had meetings like that, planning meetings every month, national meetings like that. And I think the one in September 11th, had over 1,000 people registered for it.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then monthly meetings for local event planners. So the events vary extraordinarily across the country, and the website is really, really good. It's www.seniorsforclimate.org. Very simple to remember.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to that, you'll see a map. You click on the map, and you'll see all 70 events. You click on an event near you, and you'll see what's happening, who to contact, an email, how to get more information. So if there's nothing happening near your location, then maybe it's up to you to plan something. It's a little bit late now, but people have started planning events last week. The last few people who joined the movement started last week.
Well,
So
I see
it's
5
happening.
events just in the listening area. There's one in Eagleville, there's one in Perth, there's one in Castleman and Vankleek, and of course Ottawa with your event.
Hmm.
So there's quite a few
Exactly.
actually. I'm looking at the map that you mentioned right now. There's all across the country, at least one in every province with more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Newfoundland, PEI, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, all across Northwest Territories, I believe, for sure. I'm not sure about
Yeah,
the
there's one in
Yukon.
Yellowknife. There's
Yeah,
one in
it's
Yellowknife. There's
quite.
one in Whitehorse.
There you go. Yep. It's very exciting. We're on fire, basically. The events, the type of event varies a lot. In Ottawa, what we've planned, besides the surprise we have waiting for you, um, what I've done is invite 6 local environmental groups to present briefly and answer questions, help people understand what it is that organization does. But then the whole point is for the members of the audience and those representatives of those groups to talk about how we can work more closely together, plan together, coordinate, strategize, so that we're more effective and we have a much more a greater impact on local issues. It's
Mm-hmm.
not we're not aiming for provincial or federal issues so much, mind you. Municipal and provincial issues do connect a lot in so many ways, as do some federal issues as well. It's hard to separate them, but we wanted to focus on what people can do at the local level. A lot of people find municipal politics a bit murky, a
Mm-hmm.
bit hard to understand how the city works. It doesn't seem all that obvious at times, and a lot of people are intimidated by having to delegate at committee. That seems to be a tall order. So what we're trying to do is figure out what are the problems that we really need to focus on at the local level? What are the solutions? And there are plenty. And how to act to get those solutions in place. What can all the people who attend that day, how can they contribute to getting those solutions put in place?
For me, a big one is definitely the transit system and just how
Yeah.
important that is. I know there will be
Yeah.
a Bank Street Transit Forum at the Ottawa Public Library on the 28th that I'm planning to go to and check out.
Good. Good.
This is sponsored by CUSA and the Free Transit Ottawa, the local 279, and another one I'm not familiar with. But yeah, I really feel that transit is one of the number one ways. Mass transit is that we can reduce the number of
Exactly.
cars on the
Yeah.
road, reduce the number of people creating carbon emissions, and it's in my estimation, it's an easy win.
Yeah. It's exactly that. It's you need to change mindsets. The public needs to stop seeing the inconvenience of public transit and insist on better public transit in order that they can actually use it, effectively.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's really, we're cutting our nose off to spite our face by cutting transit instead of increasing it, and by increasing, the threat of increasing transit 70%. Really?
Yeah. Well, I've noticed specifically with the city of Ottawa, this year we have a $10 million surplus in the budget for just the first 6 months of 2024, and a projected $24 million deficit with the Ottawa Transit. I feel like we could rearrange some money there and just get rid of
Mhm.
the deficit right there.
That's right. And there seems to be money for things like Lansdowne 2.0, for
Very
instance.
true, very true. And there's not even good transit to Lansdowne. I went to
No.
a Friday night headline show for City Folk Festival with Rise Against, and
Right.
there were no buses waiting when we got out. People were waiting. Like I walked down the street all the way to Fifth Street just to get a bus. Or no, I went the other way. I would like to Gloss to I forget what street it was, but I walked like 5 blocks north
Right.
just to be able to catch a bus because I could tell the number of people waiting there once the bus arrived it was going to be completely packed.
Yeah.
There were a couple of people
And
left waiting on the side of the road after the concert.
and people wonder why people choose to drive instead.
Yeah, it's
Really.
just so disappointing.
Yeah. So one of the organizations that are going to be there, one of the six, is Horizon, and they've been really, really active on mobilizing people to fight the cuts and to insist that OC Transpo improve services and reduce costs, reduce the fares. Another organization that's very active at the local level is cafes.
Mm-hmm.
You know cafes?
Yes, actually,
Community.
the CKCU radio station on our last board meeting voted to join cafes as a member organization, and I am one of the board liaisons that will be going to the AGM for cafes, as well as Angela has every second Monday of the month. She has a segment on this very show.
That's right. That's right. So another organization is, this is a bit different. You might wonder why I invited them, but it's Acorn.
Oh, I know them. I'm a very big fan of Acorn.
Yeah, so am I. And they have produced a report about climate issues that affect tenants.
Mm-hmm.
That is just amazing. I was so impressed with the work they've done, the research, and the report they put together with help with funding from the Ottawa Climate Action Fund.
Right.
And now that report is being, spread across the country. Basically, it's so useful,
I'm
so
gonna have to look
useful.
into that because I do follow Acorn and their tenant advocacy quite a bit, and I'll have to look into that. I want to read that.
Yeah, that report is very, very handy. Another organization, of course, is Ecology Ottawa.
Right.
We can't do something like that without Ecology Ottawa. And another one is the Ottawa Renewable Energy Co-op.
Okay, I'm
Have
not
you heard of
too familiar with
OREC?
that. I'm not sure. I might have, but tell us about it.
OREC is a way for people to invest in renewable energy projects and to earn a very healthy return. It's a very, very stable project. They have actually many renewable energy projects. If you're interested, I would encourage you to go to their website, Ottawa Renewable Energy Co-op. They have very, very good information, explains how they operate. They've been in operation many, many years now. I just recently, I became a member years ago and never got around to investing.
Hmm.
So I finally invested recently, and I'm looking forward to their presentation. I think it's going to be very interesting, talking about the need to electrify and promote the use of EVs and battery storage. And he's
Hmm.
not only going to talk about ORIC itself, but what needs to happen around renewable energy and electrification. Another interesting one is CAPE, Canadian Association of Physicians for the Environment. Now,
Okay.
that's not a
Yes.
local, you know them, right?
I saw
Um,
Dr. Sijal. I forget her name. One of the doctors from that gave
yes,
several presentations on Parliament Hill over the past few years. I've seen her around.
yes, yes, she's amazing. I don't think she's based in Ottawa anymore, unfortunately. The last I heard her speak at a webinar not too long ago, and she said she was going to be going elsewhere.
Well, I wish her the best in everything. She's a wonderful person.
Mm, amazing. She was working out of Ottawa U, wasn't she? I
I
think.
believe so.
Yeah, yeah. So we have Rob Barnes on behalf of Cape. He used to be with Ecology Ottawa.
Okay, very
So
cool.
small world. So he's going to talk about the health impact on seniors of all the carbon emissions and
Right.
how that needs to stop. Horizons is also going to talk about the push for banning fossil fuel ads at the municipal level. That
That
was
would be
one
great
thing,
because
I
we see
guess.
so many of them downtown. They're like, oh, as long as we need natural gas, it should be Canadian, and things like
That's
that.
right. That's right.
On the
It's
bus,
crazy, isn't it? It's such a mixed message.
it's
They
a
have the
war
climate
of.
emergency plan,
Hmm.
and then this kind of ad, and it doesn't even earn them that much money. Actually, it's really a
It's
dime
a
in the
war of
bucket.
marketing that's happening. I find down at Parliament Hill.
Exactly. Yeah, it's real greenwashing too. It's
Hmm.
actual green. It is directed to federal MPs, of course. That's
Right.
why they're located there. But there's also advertising in Ottawa skating arenas, ice
Mm,
hockey
I
arenas.
believe it.
Like that's like really unacceptable.
Yeah, I
So
agree because they're telling our children that we don't really care about their future.
yeah, scary stuff. So what happened was, I guess people were confronted with this advertising last year. Actually, the first time we saw one of the big ads on the buses was walking to that protest that you and I were at together.
Yeah, I know the bus ads you're talking about, but describe it for our listeners.
Um, it's been so long, I can barely remember. Was it about natural gas?
Yeah, most likely because they've been pushing really hard about Canadian natural gas,
Yeah,
Canadian oil sands
yeah,
production,
yeah, yeah.
and
I just remember being outraged and just floored. Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
stopped in my tracks and I went, "What?"
that's just so disappointing.
And I shouldn't call it natural gas either. Oh no,
Methane.
methane. No, exactly. Um, so I guess a lot of people reacted in the same way, and we got to talking, and I was trying to get information from OC Transpo, who had authorized those ads. Poof, no possibility. Really, nobody at OC Transpo wanted to talk to me. And then I found out that Cafes was onto this, Ecology Ottawa, and Horizons, and Cape.
Have we tried a
So
freedom
we
of
joined.
information request?
Pardon?
Have we tried a freedom of information request?
I don't know if that applies to OC Transpo. It
It
should,
might.
shouldn't
It
it?
might. I don't
I
know for
did
sure, but
eventually find out who did approve it through the advertising company who actually produced all those ads,
yeah.
but he would not speak to me. He would not acknowledge my request. Or, yeah, that was disappointing. But then we found out that Sean Menard's office was interested in exploring this, and we met with his assistant. And they approached, Sean's office approached staff.
Right.
Now, it's a bit disappointing because we didn't get very far. All we managed to get out of committee was that staff would review the policy because this wasn't actually the environment committee, it was corporate affairs. So not Sean's committee. So we got a commitment that staff would report back to council. That's the best we could do. And what we found out is staff is stalling. They are not moving on this at all.
Hmm.
So we have to keep pushing, definitely keep pushing to get something out of staff. And they're not reviewing a ban, they're just reviewing a policy. There
Right.
wasn't even talk of a ban. That is something we really need to work hard on. There are so many issues too, like putting a pause on renewable energy projects.
Yeah, that's a big thing we need to look into. Well, we have 10
Huge.
days till your event happens. And something I noticed when working with Fridays for Future in their marketing, as I've been running ad campaigns for the upcoming March, and
Mhm.
the number one demographic that's most interested in actually clicking on the link and going to the page to learn more about it is 65 plus, specifically people that identify as women. And I found that
Mm.
interesting. And why I have some ideas why seniors are so much more motivated to be a part of climate initiatives. But what do you think is the cause of that?
Well, maybe we feel responsible. Maybe we feel like we didn't do a good enough job when we were younger.
Hmm.
Mind you, I've been an activist on environmental issues and
That's not what I.
other issues.
That's not the reason I was thinking, but it's an interesting perspective. Like my thoughts was maybe it's you have the lived experience and the wisdom that comes with that to know that the world is changing way too fast in the from a climate
Mhm.
perspective, and we gotta change course.
Yes, yes. I think that's it. I think it's also it grows out of concern
Mm-hmm.
for our children and grandchildren for future generations.
Exactly.
It's maybe it's more women because we're the ones that give birth. They're our children, our grandchildren, but actually, Seniors for Climate Action has quite a few men in it, which
Mm-hmm.
is encouraging. The one thing I wonder about sometimes, though, and you could answer this, where are all the young men?
Well, I noticed that it's very uncommon for 18 to 25 men to be interested, but it starts to be people are more interested when you get to the 25 to 35 demographic. Uh,
Okay, that's good. That's encouraging.
yeah, but I definitely try to raise awareness among my peers and people younger than me to be more active in this. There's possibly also a bit of not apathy, but what's it called when you've given up because there's nothing you think there's nothing you
Yeah,
can do.
cynicism.
Yeah, cynicism, like they,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's understandable that youth would become cynical when they see, the lack of action on the part of our governments, and they look around and they see people aren't changing their habits, aren't changing their ways.
Mhm.
It is discouraging. It could be very scary. I was a middle school teacher for almost 30 years,
Wow.
and I always felt that the most important thing I could do is help my students develop a sense of their own agency, that to use their own voice, to express themselves, to develop their own opinions, and learn how to do decent research and work with facts instead of feelings and
Mhm.
ideas and thoughts. But
Yeah, that's
facts.
very good. That's very good. I really find
Yeah.
that I've become more optimistic lately, learning just about how effective working at a municipal level can be. Because often we look at the
Mhm.
big picture of the whole world and problems at a national and international scale, and it seems insurmountable when the actual largest change that can be effective for the better is done at the municipal level, and then it builds up from there.
Exactly. That's why I decided to invite those six groups and focus on local issues. Plus, there's the march tomorrow, which is really focused on federal issues, the very big picture.
Right,
So we didn't want to do a repeat 10 days later.
right, right.
That it wouldn't have been that useful, I don't think, at that point. Um, One thing I wanted to mention too was that um, we do have young volunteers working with us. That has been so encouraging. One of them bought the T-shirt that the volunteers are going to be wearing.
That's great.
He's like a third-year university student, and he's wearing a T-shirt that says "Seniors for Climate Action."
That's awesome. Well, I'm hoping to
I
be there
haven't.
myself, and I'm
Oh,
going to invite a
good,
few people. 'Cause I don't have anything
good.
scheduled for the 1st of October currently, and I will
That's
be busy.
great.
Um, we'll see how it goes.
Maybe you could interview people at the event.
That's the plan. I'll be busy like the next few days after that, but I'm free on the 1st, so
That's great. Good. I'm very
I hope to
encouraged.
see you
Chris
there.
White, of course, is going to be accompanying the Raging Grannies.
Yeah, Chris is, I would
And
describe as a mentor and one of my best friends of the last 2 years. He's helped me out in so many wonderful ways, and I really appreciate him.
well, I love how Chris uses his music to support events and actions like this. He's always been so supportive. And he's bringing along other musicians to entertain people as they arrive and wait to come in. So
Hmm.
that's going to be special. I'm looking forward to that. And to end well, to begin the day, I should have mentioned we're having a proclamation by the mayor declaring October 1st officially National Seniors for Climate Day.
Really? He's
The
going to be there?
yeah, no, the
That's,
mayor won't be there. The deputy mayor is going to be there for
well, that's really
probably about
cool.
10 minutes.
I definitely want to capture that. That's encouraging to hear.
And my city councilor, Stephanie Plante, when she heard about it, I guess I sent her an announcement that I asked her to put in a bulletin to,
Hmm.
her constituency. And she replied asking me if she could attend the event. So that was really encouraging. I said, "Of course you can attend. I'll text me when you're on your way. I'll meet you at the door."
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
now I think we're going to have more city councilors actually attend, possibly, but they're not there to speak. They're there to listen
Have
if
you
they
sent
do
out a
attend.
press release to all of the counselors to let them know who's already going to be there to make them feel like they're missing out if they don't?
One of our volunteers, who's with Gran, that's another thing. Um, the organization here is not just Seniors for Climate Action. It's also the Council of Canadians, the Ottawa chapter.
Hmm.
It's Decolonial Solidarity
Right,
and
right.
Grandmothers Advocacy Network. So we're a coalition as well, and we're probably going to keep working together. Also, um, the volunteer from Gran, who was the one who made the proclamation happen, she's the one that's responsible for getting in touch with all the city councilors and inviting them. And this coming week, is going to be a bit of a media blitz too.
Right,
Um,
right.
we've been given media training, social media training even, but it was a young volunteer from Montreal who's just moved to Ottawa, who's interning on the Hill actually. She created an Instagram account for us. That was wonderful. I wouldn't have known how to begin to do that. I don't really get Instagram. Um, what was I trying to say? Oh yes, the city councilors and media and all that. That's happening this coming week. So you
Hmm.
should be looking for it on CTV, perhaps CBC, Radio Canada.
Very good,
But
very good.
I value this kind of media coverage much more.
Thank you so much for reaching out. I appreciate it. We're running short of time. Was there anything else you want the listeners to know about before we break off?
Well, I hope that people are interested enough to go to the Eventbrite page and look us up. The National Seniors for Climate Day Ottawa event, October 1st, and register to attend. Their seating is limited, so I hope people don't wait till the last minute and then there's no room for them. That would be sad.
Well, thank you so much, Letitia, for talking with me. I appreciate it very much, and you're doing good work there.
Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow, right?
Yes, we will. As of
Very
airing
good.
this will be on Saturday, a couple of days ago, but for us, it's still tomorrow.
Well, hopefully it won't be the last time we connect.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. I'll see you on the 1st as well. Since Chris is
Very
going, I'm
good.
gonna work on meeting up with him together, and we'll go there. We'll go there together.
That's right. Very good. Bye bye.
Goodbye. Thank you so much.